Welcome to the House and Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Welcome to Raider Nation News today. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. Wherever you guys are at, I am your host and your resident tribal chief of Raider Nation, Hammer.
Acknowledge me.
Those coming on in, y'all know their team. Those new in here, let me teach you real quick. Smash some thumbs, hammer that sub, crush the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. It is Monday. It is Reaction Monday. Y'all know what we do here on Mondays. At least starting this season, anyways. It's the Hammer and Joe Show. The Hammer and Joe Show. Let's go, bro.
Yeet.
Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, just do me a quick favor, because I know you guys didn't hear the first few seconds of the presser earlier this afternoon. Just give me a thumbs up. You can hear the audio loud and clear, and then we will get this going. A lot to talk about, a lot to dive into, and of course, Mondays is the time where we hear you guys take to the floor, call in. Vault line will be open during the show for you guys to sound off on that embarrassing loss yesterday. Salute to the 16 we have in here. I think Graf is still alive. But yeah, let's get this shit going. Salute to Walt. Salute to Can't Get Right. Appreciate y'all pulling on up. We got the emojis in here. Ben Bad, can you hear Joe? Joe, say something, anything, whatever.
Man, look, I'm going to tell y'all like this off the rip today. I'm not about no overreaction. I'm not about hot takes. I'm about we have problems, we find solutions. Otherwise, you're just complaining and nobody wants to hear that shit.
Damn, that was quick and to the point. Damn.
I mean, no, for real. I mean, look, let's be real. Okay, we can encapsulate this show like this. Quarterback play sucks. Luke Getsy needs to be fired. We need to start AOC. The run game sucks. The defense sucks. Devante's a diva. What's AP doing? We're fucked this season. Okay, show's over. Like that's what we're gonna hear. Okay, so if the team sucks, right? And this is what people are gonna say. What needs to improve? If the quarterback play is the problem, why was he the second leading passer in the NFL, being Gardner Minshew, heading into yesterday's game? Why? Because he threw 2 picks. It's on him. Okay, I think the first one was horrible. But, I mean, okay. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks yesterday. Does Aaron Rodgers suck? Okay. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about
it. That's your guy. That's your guy. That was a great performance by Aaron Rodgers yesterday, by the way.
It's just a point. It's like the reason why Aiden O'Connell wasn't starting, for those that are dense and don't want to either don't know, don't show, or don't care to listen. He can't move in the pocket, and against the defenses they played in the first 4 and 5 games, they're elite level defenses. At least they were coming into the year. They wanted someone that could move around. That's why Pierce said specifically for the first quarter of the season. Okay, the quarterback play hasn't really been the problem up until yesterday. It's been the offensive line play. It's been the lack of running game. It's been people making business decisions on both sides of the ball. It hasn't been the quarterback play. It's easy to point the finger at the quarterback play because it's not the guy you want or the guy you want starting. That's for those of you, it's you putting on blinders and not being logical. The best quarterback was the one that has been playing. What does O'Connell do with his first pass? First pass of the game yesterday. Pick. First play. Like, at some point, you have to get out of your feelings and just understand it's a business decision. The people making the choices, whether you like those people or not, whether you think they're qualified or not, they're the ones that evidently are qualified and they're making those decisions. They're starting the people that they feel is best, regardless. And to go from what they've had to deal with all week, really the last week and a half or so, with distractions, with business decisions being talked about. And then, obviously Devante on was it Wednesday requesting a trade. With all of those factors, that's a distraction for your team. And they went into that game and they started off hot. And that one interception, that changed momentum, but you got to find a way to get it back. Either with a big play on defense or a big play on offense. But to say the same shit every single week, at some point, just like some of you feel about the team, was it the definition of insanity? Because you're doing the same shit over and 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 over again, expecting the same result.
Yeah, Dave, it's okay, bro. Don't adjust your YouTube channel. I gave Joe his platform. I gave him solo time. The hell, y'all are wilding. It's like, where did Hammer go? I'm here, guys. Hi.
The Hammer and Joe show.
Before we go any further, let's do this first. Let me see if I can get these up real quick. No Diddy if necessary. All right. All right, that is on the screen. There we go.
I don't see what people are saying. So, like, if there's shit that's being said, I don't see it.
So here we go. We'll go through the scores from this week so far. You had the Thursday night game. Atlanta handled business at home against Tampa, 36-30. In London, the early game yesterday, Minnesota beat the Jets 23-17. A-Rod with those 3 interceptions. Oh well. Chicago beat the pants off of the Carolina Panthers, 36-10. Baltimore and Cincinnati in an overtime thriller, 41-38 Baltimore. Houston, Buffalo. Houston held their own. They came up with the win, 23-20. Jacksonville beat Indy. Jacksonville got their first win of the season, 37-34. Miami handled business in New England. They beat the Patriots 15-10. Washington, Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, man, dog walked Cleveland. It looks like Deshaun Watson has quit on the Browns, 34-13. Arizona beat San Francisco in Santa Clara 24-23, bringing San Francisco's record to 2-3, just like us. Green Bay handled business against a lack of offense in the Rams, 24-19. Giants defeated the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle 29-20. The late night game, 20-17. Dallas beat our upcoming opponents, Pittsburgh. Then you had the Monday night game tonight between the New Orleans Saints as they head to Kansas City to face Patrick Mahomes and the 4-0 Chiefs. So there is your around the league as it stands right now. Now let's get back into this recap of the game. Let's talk about the team stats real quick. What are you going to say, bro?
I got a question. Do people honestly think, and I really want to know, Nation, please answer in the comments, and if you can, do a super chat so I can see him or hopefully see him. But do you really think, one, that Jaden Daniels was going to be a realistic option for the Raiders when, one, yes, he may have wanted to be a Raider, but he had no control over it. That's the most important thing. And two, Washington was never going to trade that pick. No matter what was offered, they weren't going to trade that pick. It would have to be an organizational changing for both parties, like all the draft picks for the next 2 drafts type deal, for Washington to even trade that pick. Jay was ticketed there. The first 2 picks were ticketed. Like, so for people to be pissed that Jaden is having success in Washington, and you should be having it with the Raiders, but the Raiders messed that up. The Raiders did all they could to try and move up. The answer was no, and it was no consistently. So that's not on the Raiders. Kingsbury, Lord knows what I mean. So if they didn't want to give him an extra year, or if he beefed with who he may have wanted as a quarterback, it doesn't matter. Like, this is the first, he's having success being a coordinator, and that's good for him, because as a head coach and what he did at SC last year with the quarterback room, Caleb Williams regressed with Cliff Kingsbury there. His last few years in Arizona were not good years.
Right.
You're basing everything off the name and perception, but actual numbers speak a different story. And I'm just curious with that. And I'm also curious, Hammer, who does the nation want to win tonight? The Chiefs or Derek Carr?
I know somebody that's going to be doing live play-by-play of that game, but that name shall remain not used on my channel. So do not put it in the chat, or I will put you in timeout. And I mean what I say right now. Do not fucking put that name in my chat. I'm not
Is
with
that
the
the
shit.
same guy that doesn't know what a flood is on offense?
Yes. Do not put that shit. Do not put that shit in the chat, because I will put you in timeout. Do not fucking play with me. I don't ever want to see that name in my chat. Fuck that. Do you think it's really time to panic right now? Do you think that this team is in panic mode?
They have the same record as the Jets, the Niners, the Colts. Are those teams panicking? The Jets maybe, but that's what the Jets do.
Yeah.
The Niners aren't panicking. I don't think the Colts are. The Colts are going to have to make a tough decision at quarterback. I think no. I believe that they should start Flacco and let Richardson learn a little bit. I may be in the minority by saying that. I think you get more good from letting a young quarterback, unless he's generational, sit for a year or so behind somebody. I'm a firm believer in that. And maybe because the team I root for has done it with their last two quarterbacks. We've had 3 starting quarterbacks in the last 30-something years. With Favre, Rodgers, Love.
Salute to David Zahn in the chat. He said, bro, it's the most important position on the field. Shut the fuck up. I'm happy to trade away the future for hope. Yeah.
I mean, hey. But again, Washington would have to have accepted it.
Right.
And that's the thing, and they weren't. So is it time to panic? No, I don't think it's time to panic. I think as it gets more towards Thanksgiving, that's and if this is the same up and down. I mean, lose, win, lose, win, lose. So this week's gonna be a win. I mean, that's if we're going just off of what we've seen over the course of this year, then that's likely the case. I don't think it's a panic mode yet. Now, the thing that I would say the thing that's frustrating, Hammer, that should be frustrating for the nation. You had OTAs, you had mini camp, you had training camp, and you had 5 games, and you're still evaluating the quarterback play. What is there to evaluate? If that's not enough time to evaluate, then that's a problem. And I don't say this lightly. It starts with the head coach. It all has to start with the head coach, not the offensive coordinator, who's the easy scapegoat for everything. It starts with the head coach, because you're the one that ultimately makes the decisions on who to start. Your coach will say, hey, I want to start this guy. You have to be the one to say, okay, we're going to do this. So at some point, I mean, and I'll ask this, with the week that Antonio Pierce had last week with Devante publicly through his agents releasing that he's requesting a trade, with the 8-year so cause for what happened at Arizona State while he was the associate head coach, the coordinator, but really the unofficial head coach of the Sun Devils. Maybe the Wizard of Oz, the curtain's been pulled back, and maybe players are seeing something from that they didn't see out of him as a positional coach. And maybe there is some, wait a minute, our 2 superstars done banged the table to get you the job here, but yet one of them wants to leave and the other one says we're a package deal and supports that one. Wait, what's going on here? So maybe there's something going on, and I'm just trying to listen to what's not being said, because they're not going to say it, but maybe they're saying it without saying it.
Salute to Manny V in the chat. Think him benching Minshew was a bad look, even though he wasn't playing good. Even worse if he starts the next game. I have a feeling that he's probably going to start the next game. For those that were in here earlier, we did do the presser with Antonio Pierce, and he claims that they haven't made a decision yet, that he still needs to look at the tape. Let's be real here. You looked at that tape after the game, and you looked at the tape earlier this morning. We kind of know what you want to do. Like, at this point in time, though, do you think that this was a bad decision in terms of making AP the head coach, listening to the players in that locker room?
I'm all about player empowerment because as a former player, and it's like you, Hammer, in this sport and then even in another sport, I think there should be some voices. But the ultimate decision shouldn't be the players because players are short-sighted. Very rarely do you have players that see a big picture of things. I think that there was interest in Harbaugh, but he didn't want to give the power to a head coach like he did with Gruden. He being Mark Davis. I think that he in the past gave the power to the general manager, and he hired a coach that he didn't like in Dennis Allen, but wanted to empower his general manager. He tried to go a different route, which was hire a tandem coming from arguably the most consistent organization in the NFL for 20 plus years. And that didn't work. And he caught hell for not hiring Bisaccia when players wanted him. So he figured, so this is one, okay. So he tended to overcorrect.
2 years later?
I mean, I also look at what's available as far as who's available in terms of coaches.
Right.
Like, let's say it doesn't work with AP. Let's just say it's not, and I don't know no one knows what his deal is. If it's 3 years or 5 years, nobody knows. No one's seen the contract.
I had somebody the other day, I forgot who it was. They said it was a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option for Antonio Pierce.
So if it's a 2-year deal, you let him go after year 1, you cut bait, it's not really a big loss. Because you're not paying him $10 million, you're probably paying him 4.5 maybe.
Right.
Between 3.5 and 4.5, I would say. And depending on who's available this offseason, I mean, can you get Ben Johnson from the Lions?
That seems to be the one guy that everybody seems to want. Graf is already beaten at the table and pretty much banging his head against the table for Ben Johnson at this point. He thinks it's best to have like an offensive-minded guy like that. We see what he's done with the offensive weapons that they have in Detroit, and maybe it could be one thing that helps us get over the hump and back to being a team that could be a playoff contender.
Well, but it's you got to have the weapons,
right?
And that leads to Devante, right?
Yep.
If anybody that's your biggest, that's arguably your biggest weapon. I don't think arguably he is your biggest weapon. And why does Tay want to leave? Like no one knows. Is it the offense? Well, it's the offense he's played in. Is it quarterback play? Okay, he knew that coming in. Is it losing? Well, he knew that this was going to be the situation, especially last year and going into this year. Is it the constant drama that's around the team no matter what? Is it all of the above?
If it's a constant drama, like his name seems to be the one that's constantly recycled into this drama over and over and over again.
But how was that getting out? How was that drama getting out? No one knew about him requesting the trade until it got leaked. And I go back to training camp, and there were whispers at training camp that Antonio Pierce and Devante weren't getting along too well because of some of the things that were said in wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, when your wife is pregnant and you said instead of taking a couple days, you take 10 days and you're not in camp, and then you come back and say, I'm not going to play in the preseason, when your head coach says you are, and you say, that's news to me, that means you're not on the same page, which means lack of communication, which ultimately falls on the head coach. You're the head coach. Your job is to communicate and to make sure things are cool. Name one great head coach that didn't communicate. People can say what they want about Belichick. Players knew where they stood. He was always brutally honest with them. Right. Bill Walsh, Al Davis, John Madden, Mike Holmgren. I mean, you can go through the whole list of guys. Don Shula. These are coaches that you know exactly what you're getting because they're consistent. Well, if AP is not saying anything to Devante, and Devante is not saying anything to AP, that's some high school bullshit. Now they're both at fault, but who's the actual leader? Who's supposed to be?
AP.
So maybe that plays a role. And then it's, all of a sudden he's making business decisions. Well, Devante Adams was an outstanding blocker when he was with the Packers. And maybe up until the last couple years there, when they didn't ask him to block as much, because they had a saying there, and it goes to today. It's no block, no rock. If you're not blocking as a receiver, you're not getting the ball thrown. That's just the reality of it in that organization. Maybe he wasn't asked to do that here. So when he was asked to do it, some of those business decisions that were being made, that may have been, maybe Devante took that as a personal shot to him. Wait a minute, why are you saying it to the media? I'm right here. You can put me in the office anytime.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Jack. Well, you can talk to Jack like that, but you can't talk to us like that. Yeah. So you're playing favorites now to a guy that's been in the league a year versus me, who's one of the faces of the franchise. See, all these things come into play when you're thinking about it. And so, again, do I think it's time to panic? No, but I think it's a heightened level of alert right now. And if you're the players, you don't want that. But you got to do what you got to do. You got a job to do.
Salute to Hug D's in the chat. One of our mod gods. I told you this was gonna happen. Yo, that beanie looked like I can't. Yo, Isaiah Randolph said E40, which is where you alluded to.
I'm giving E40 love. That's why I wore it today. I was gonna give E40 love.
Ty said Hug D's. He's rocking a Popeyes beanie. I knew this was coming, man.
Hey, I said one thing, I thought of another. I said it looked like a condom, and I had Hammer dying pre-show. And then I said, now I thought about it. You remember Alice, the show Alice, and they got Al's Diner? Yeah. Al's rocking one of these too. Just that, hey, bad hair day, didn't want to throw a hat on, so I just threw on my beanie. When it's 96 degrees outside.
He said Jack first quarter, and Jack took it like a pro. Black Sales, you're 1,000% correct. You're 1,000%
what happened?
correct.
What did you say?
So last week, AP sat Jack Jones for that first quarter, and he took it like a pro. He handled his business the rest of the game. Like, this is where, like, where is the disconnect? Because this is one of the two guys that were banging on the table for AP to be the next head coach. I talked about the history with AP being here. I'm sorry, not AP, with Tay being here, and 6 different quarterbacks: Carr, Stidham, Garoppolo, Hoyer, O'Connell, Minshew. Like, if I'm a receiver in the NFL, I'd be just as pissed off. Like, that's not good, man.
Especially coming from a place where he had arguably the greatest arm talent in the NFL history, and a guy whose level of playing consistency is here. And when he came to the Raiders, even with Carr here, it was down here. So there's a whole gap from what he's accustomed to and what he grew up in as a professional to when he came here. Because Carr wasn't preparing and doing the same thing that Rodgers does as a quarterback, or did as a quarterback. Like, and that was something that Tay had been on record as far as adjusting the styles and methods, of practice and preparation. Your job was to elevate them. And it hasn't happened. And going back to, Jack did take it like a pro. There's a relationship there with AP that goes back to Jack as a teenager. Why can't that same type of communication happen with the other 50-something people on the team?
Yeah, like, you're 1,000% correct. Like, I think, and this is just speaking from somebody with the coaching experience as well, like, try to pretty much treat every single player the same. I don't care how good they are, how bad they are, whatever the case may be. You hold each and every single one of those players accountable for everything that they do, whether being on or off the field. And yeah, it definitely is appearing that he has handled things differently with different players for whatever reason. And like I said, like this guy wanted, like Tay wanted you as the head coach. And now you guys are bumping heads. Obviously, it's not showing on the field, but obviously behind the scenes, something ain't right. Communication, and this is in any aspect of life. Doesn't matter if it's a relationship, a marriage, a partnership, work shit. Like, look, communication is key, and communication goes a long way. And clearly, the lack of communication within that organization right now, that lack of communication inside that locker room seems to be what's causing this divide and causing these issues. And this is why Devante Adams, rightfully so at this point in time, wants out. Salute to everybody in the chat. We have over 156 in here. I know a lot of you guys are coming in from Graphs Live. Do me a favor if you guys haven't already. Smash some thumbs, hammer that sub, crush the bell. Rob said, bro rolled up with the Trojan beanie. Yo, I am done with y'all. I knew it.
Oh, I heard. I see the one. I see the one right now. Never getting an argument that someone call me a dickhead. Hey, at least the dick is something useful. Shit.
Yo, what is wrong with y'all, man? Jacorian has been our best corner.
I was going to take it off. Hammer was like, keep it on. Let the Nate. Okay, I don't care. I'm with it.
Because I was waiting for them to. I know how they are. More like a lifestyle condom beanie. Yo, y'all are wilding right now. Wait,
nah, it's a Magnum condom beanie, homie.
Somebody else said that in the chat too. Yo, trying to catch up with you guys right now. I can't. Isn't that the hat?
I'm
that
I put it on my screen.
I'm fucking weak. Yeah. Salute to everybody in the chat. O'Bannon finally got his paint job. Dazed and yo, that's my movie. That is my movie. Dazed and Confused. Real ones know. That's because Hammer likes protected conversations. Y'all are fucking stupid. Yeah, AJ says, shake your head, bro. I fucking hate y'all. Safety first and teamwork. Yo, I am done. All right. You know what? I did a whole lot during the 45 minutes that we covered the presser before. And I said I was going to wait until we were live to do this show to open up the vault line for you guys. So let me connect this up and I'll put the number on the screen in a second. Y'all are, this is just as wild as yesterday's live with Wasted when we did the pregame show. Y'all were off the meter then, and y'all are going even worse right now. I can only imagine. So let's get this on. Oops. Yo, see, y'all distracted.
Man, by the way, if Elite is in here, I heard her call in last week, man, and I'm praying for your family, and I'm glad you're back. I started following you on X too.
There you go. Guys, you see the number on the screen right there, 347-471-0361. Call into the SeatGeek Vault line. Sound off on yesterday's game. Sound off on the issues and topics that we were talking about in terms of AP, in terms of Devante Adams, and the direction of this team. And we got our first call. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my guy, the resident meathead of Raider Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, L.A. Rob.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? Oh, shit. Hold up.
You got it on mute, see?
No, I don't have it on mute. It wasn't plugged in. Yo, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go.
Yeah, and you're going to get a little yeah. I am not in a good mood. I am irritated. I don't know what this team does. Like, I was so excited, especially after that Brock Bowers touchdown. And then all he did, and then that pick six from Minshew just killed me. Because I knew it was all going to be downhill from there.
Yep.
The defense got gassed. Then Wilkins got hurt. And I'm just like, oh, no, here we go. Honestly, like, I don't know what the real deal is with Adams. I don't know if it's because of his age and he feels like he needs to have one opportunity to ring because, let's be honest, we're not going to make the Super Bowl. So maybe he's decided, oh, what, I've tried, I can't. I can't. I want to get mad at him, but then I don't want to get mad at him. Now, I think AP, he's still learning on the job, but I can't 100% put this on him. He's trying. He's trying to be the rah-rah guy. He's trying to get people up to play, but you can't get past that whole quarterback situation. And the thing, too, is, let's be honest, Tom Telesco is calling a lot of shots in there, too. We can't put all this on AP.
Yep.
I mean, shit, I would be surprised if AP said, hey, why don't we, take a look at Kirk Cousins? No, we just rolled what we have. Let's be honest. I was very hesitant to be excited when we hired Telesco. I didn't really want him. I would have preferred to keep
Champ
Kelly.
Yeah.
So, but things happen the way they did. We need to make some moves. And if I was holding out hope that maybe Devante was just irritated. We see it all the time. People want out. They're demanding their trade. The next thing you know, they're good. Based on time, age, and situation, he probably really does. If we want to go get a quarterback in the future, we need to trade him. Now we're saying, they're not going to, nobody's going to pay a second, blah, 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 blah. Okay, how about this? Well, we call up the Jets after what just happened. Hey, you guys want Devante? Here's the case. We'll pay the rest of his salary for this season, and we'll throw in a fourth. Maybe that'll get it done enough to boost up to either a second, or if we have to throw a little more compensation in, get there first. Because we need to make a move now. Because if we wait, we're going to lose leverage. So I think that we need to get Devante out of the building. But let's do it respectfully. Let's not be assholes, send him to Carolina or something like that. Send him somewhere. He wants to go, shows faith, shows like, hey, you know what? It was an experiment. It didn't work. We appreciate you trying. We got to get him out, and we got to get this going now. And of course, we got to start AOC for the rest of the year. I can't with the booger eater. I just can't.
Oh my god, man! That video, that video, and we showed it. We showed it during the end of the game yesterday, and oh my god, dude, really?
I know. I can't. There's no defending that. Everybody in the locker room is gonna look at it. Everybody's gonna look at him different now. So we need to go with AOC. Hopefully Wilkins isn't seriously hurt, and we need to go forward. And what's funny is the way our Raiders are built and the way we are. Watch us play Pittsburgh and completely dominate them. It's going to be funny because that's what we do. We get beat. We're depressed. We have a great win. Hey, we're back. Hey, then we're going to lose again. Then we're back. It's just up and down. Fuck, I hate roller coasters as it is. I feel like we're on yet another one, the lovely Raider Nation roller coaster. So I think that we need to go ahead, get this done.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. It's like DJ Khaled is just everywhere. It's like, oh, you're excited? Here's another penalty. Here's another injury. This is over and over and over again. So I'm hoping that we can get this right. We need to make the right decisions, and we got to get Devante out. He's got to get traded, and we got to try to get as much as we can. If we got to eat that $13 million salary, we need to do it if it'll get us a better pick.
The only thing is right now as it stands, he has this injury, and they're going to give it the full 2 weeks before they are going to take calls, but they're not going to let anything happen. They're not going to make a move until they pretty much are like, okay, he's good to go. He can play. Like, okay, now we'll trade him. And again, we are about 3 weeks away from the trade deadline. So if this is to happen, and a lot of people had this projected to happen by Halloween, it'll probably happen around that time.
I think it happens sooner.
Yeah, I think he's going this week. I think he's going to say his hamstring's okay now, and they'll take him. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Rob, appreciate the call as always, bro, and we'll definitely be talking soon.
Bye, brother.
Take care, bro. Our resident
Jet
meathead, LA
thing,
Rob. Go ahead, bro.
the Jet thing makes a lot of sense. They got Reddick, and they have a rookie receiver who they didn't start last week. I think Cooley or Conley or something. I forget the kid's name off the top. Would you make a deal if there was Reddick and that kid and maybe
no, because I'm not paying Reddick. Reddick wants $26 million. I'm not fucking paying Reddick. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Why wouldn't you pay? Why don't you want to pay Reddick?
No.
Hey, what's up, Hammer? How's it going, man? My name is Roy.
What's up, man? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Palm Springs, California.
Sound off, bro.
Hey, so just to touch up on yesterday's performance, man, it was a complete shit show, bro. Honestly, this organization is really, really going through some tough times, and I think it's time that they just, hang on to this guy Devante and just do whatever it takes to get what they want, because short selling yourself, being kind of, demanding, just getting rid of this guy, we're going to probably get, a third, fourth. And when we want a second, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think we should just hang on and just see what we can get out of this.
So I spoke to Ty Butler. For those who don't know, he's a personality for ESPN Radio New York. I called into the show, I believe it was actually yesterday before we did our game. And I was like, how about this situation? We give you guys Tay for either Garrett Wilson or Brees Hall and a second. And he's like, that egregious contract that Tay has, I'm definitely not giving up those players, let alone a second. I'm just like, as bad as you guys want him right now and as incompetent as your front office is, like, look, y'all taking verbal handshakes and got a dude that has not played the first 5 weeks of the season. I don't see why the Jets wouldn't take on something like that.
Yeah, man, I think honestly, we should keep all options at the table at this point. We should be able to at least, hear from all these other teams that are at the bottom end of the tadpole. They're just to try and get a Devante Adams on their team. Maybe, hey, they want to fork out a first or a second, or maybe even a second and a third and a player. I think at this point, if Devante wants to play that hardball game, yeah, I get it. He's a Raider. Growing up as a fan, but at the same time, this is a business for not only the fan base. We fork out thousands and thousands of dollars, but an actual nation that they need to get what they deserve. And if he doesn't want to be there, hey, like Rex Bryan said, don't let the door hit you.
He's been saying that about a lot of players with these contract issues, with these players that don't want to play for their respective teams right now. And it is what it is. Like, he's 1,000% correct. If you don't want to be here, then cool. Like, kick rock, eat dirt, blow pebbles, kick rocks. You're not needed here anymore. Then it is what it is. Definitely appreciate the call. We're gonna take a couple more callers, bro.
All right, you guys have a good day.
You too.
Let's go Raiders.
You too. Hey, don't go to Zelda's at all and don't have too much fun over there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Only you. Guys, 347-471-0361. Call in if you guys want to sound off. Isaiah Randolph, what do you think about Mike Williams? Nope.
No,
granted, he's on the final year of his contract. It was a 1-year deal that he signed, but nope. I'm not dealing with another receiver out of Charger land that's got feet for hands. I'm not dealing with that shit. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Dave Zahn. I made it.
Oh shit! What's up, guy?
All right, I'm not going to attack our host. Who, by the way, Sir Joe, it's a pleasure to see you. I will say this: I don't give a fuck how much groundwork you try to lay for a pity party for Devante Adams. Mm-hmm. Devante Adams' production can all be replaced within the 20s, which we can easily do. He drops 3 out of 4 passes in the end zone, and 90% of those are entirely catchable. I'm tired of half-assery. Look, you don't want to be here, bro. Don't let the fucking good Lord hit you where the fucking something splits you. I'm out. I'm out on you. Go home. I hope they trade you to the Jets because I watched them play 2 weeks in a row. You're gonna suck just as bad there as you did for us. Bye, Felicia. Now, moving forward, we need to do what we can do to get ourselves a quarterback because he has a legitimate complaint. Both of our quarterbacks, we got Booger Minshew, we got Aiden fucking Slow Roll, whatever the fuck his last name is. Bye. We need a quarterback. So as far as I'm concerned, the rest of this year is all about next year. And we'd be goddamn fools because for some reason they think he's one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league. You don't let him go for a fucking less than a first. Even if you have to go in and trade Mayers, which I don't want to do, but if I have to, I'm going to get my first because then we can move up and we can get somebody. And you know what? Even if he doesn't work out, at least you have hope for a year or two.
Are you ready for more?
Yes, Mother. I'm good.
Not yet.
We have hope for the next few years. And everybody knows for teams that aren't winning, your team is driven by hoping. So that's my 2 cents. I'm not going to pick on the guy who said a bunch of nonsense, but whatever. Love you guys. I'm out.
Later, Dave.
Was the other guy saying a bunch of nonsense? I just want to know.
Yes, you're the guy talking a bunch of nonsense.
See, wait. See, I can say something about what happened in the call, but I'm not going to do that.
Ma, the meatloaf.
Why did I think about that immediately?
I never know what she's doing. What is she doing back there?
Nah, you know what though? I'm not making excuses, but I'm for Devante at all. But what I'm doing is I'm also trying to see both sides of everything, man. Because it's not nothing is absolute. There's always three sides to a story, sometimes more. And in this case, there's a side where I get the fans. You're here, we're paying you to play, fucking play, and this is where you wanted to be. Shut up and play. Yeah. And there's the other side. If that's you're in that building, you know what's going on. You have no clue what these guys are dealing with. Yeah. And then the truth is like somewhere in between all that. You know what I mean? So, that's why I try to do. Again, I'm not a reactionary person. I'm not a hot take person, at all. So, yeah.
You got a bunch of people in here that are all the same thing. Ma, meatloaf. I love it.
Dude, that is.
Shout out to Leba. I see somebody from the Facebook side of things in here, so I appreciate you. We're on a whole bunch of different platforms. We're on IG, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on the Book That Is Face, all that fun stuff. Those that haven't already, do me a favor. Smash some thumbs, hammer that sub, crush a bell, y'all.
What you never explained why if it was like a Reddick for Adams deal, you wouldn't walk. I guess
especially not after the shit that's going on right now in terms of him fucking sitting out because he wants an average annual of $26 million a year. Dude's not played in 5 games. He's already lost $9 million. Like, no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
But he's the same amount of money Devante was scheduled to make. So you're really not taking an L. And your defense gets better with the guy that's averaged double-digit sacks, I think like all but like his first 2 years in the league. You put him with Max, with Wilkins, with Wilson, with Butler. Now you got a defense that can go get the quarterback, and you want to win off it. You're going to have to win with defense. That's what
we were supposed to do from the jump. At the same time, our defensive line has been completely depleted by injuries like the first 5 weeks of the season. And I know that's not an excuse.
And he wouldn't help.
The thing is, if this trade were to in fact happen, the Jets are going to tell him straight up, you better give this motherfucker an extension. Because if you're not going to give him one, we're not doing this trade.
Okay, so unlike Joe Douglas, who had the master class when he traded for Aaron Rodgers and master class for trading for Hassan Reddick and signing all these people, which have all backfired and blew up in his face, Telesco would do that homework. And I disagree with when it comes to Telesco getting blamed. I'm going to tell you why. He came in, and he came in knowing what the quarterback situation was like, and they attempted to go get quarterbacks. When those avenues didn't pan out, they had to pivot. No one was going to give Kirk Cousins $100 million coming off a torn Achilles at his age. Atlanta did it because they panicked and then was like, oh shit, well, let's go get Penix too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was never good. That's bad business. That was bad business. It's always easy to go back and look in retrospect, like, hey, that's a great move. But at the time, like, nah, like it's coming off a torn Achilles, and they had a quarterback issue.
Right.
So again, like not drafting Bo Nix. There's been plenty of quarterbacks who started off the year, and conversely, Jaden Daniels falls in this too. Everybody wants to say, oh my God, they're doing so shitty. Oh my God, they're doing so good. And then by the end of the year or the following year, they're average at best, or they're not starting anymore, and then people sour on them. Again, there's no patience. Now, in this case, I get it. I get that the quarterback room is trash in most people's opinions. I get that they're not happy with Minshew. They're not happy with O'Connell. They don't think one should start and the other one shouldn't. Whatever it is, I get it. But what the fuck is out there?
At this point, really nothing. No, you're talking about Booger Minshew. I went like this.
But I'm just saying, like it's legit. It's legit. Like I get the frustration, but like Telesco's hands came in like, okay, we gotta go get a quarterback. We're trying to move up to get the guy that our head coach wants, and that we feel that could help us, that wants to be here, that we feel is the second best quarterback in the draft.
Look,
Chicago's not moving on that pick.
I'm gonna look at it from this standpoint. Thinking about the whole quarterback, and we were having the conversation earlier in terms of Jaden Daniels, and obviously Washington was dead set. We're taking Jaden Daniels. Why wouldn't you moved up a little bit higher? And maybe if you had a 1B for the quarterback and that quarterback was in the first round, why wouldn't you have done something to try to move up and get Penix instead?
Who just say they didn't?
We've never heard anything about that. We never heard anything about that.
There's a lot of things no one's ever heard of when it comes to deals and it comes out later on.
Look, I would have heard about it had somebody else had that information previously, but that's never been a conversation that has been had. Unless you're sitting there with that look on your face right now saying, oh, they did actually try that and they didn't. So guess what? You're in the spotlight now with like over 200 people watching. Did that in fact happen?
So there's certain things that get told to you that you can leak, and there's other things, if you want to keep getting information, that you just got to sit on, and you just got to because at the end of the day, there's no point in putting it out, because all it does is I don't do it for clicks.
No, I know you don't.
So I'm not going to put it out just to get hundreds or thousands of clicks, whatever it is, to come to franchise. Oh, the Raiders tried to move up and they were rebuffed by such and such and such and such and such and such. The Raiders tried to move up in the draft to try to get a quarterback, but the first three were already going to be gone. You see, Caleb wasn't moving, or the Bears weren't moving. Washington wasn't moving. You've seen in real time, or you've seen after the fact on Hard Knocks, that New England wasn't going to move unless it's an organizational type offer for May.
Mm-hmm.
So then, okay, now you're going to go to the next group. It was what? Penix, Nix, who else? Who else was in that group?
McCarthy.
Okay. When it got to the Vikings, they needed a quarterback. They weren't about to miss out on a quarterback. Not a guy that they targeted and fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
So then they weren't going to move. Now it's Penix. Nobody in their mama thought Atlanta was going to take a quarterback. I can stand on business to say if Penix was there and the Raiders were up, the Raiders would have taken Penix. It's my belief that they would have taken Penix. But they didn't feel the need to jump anybody.
Yeah. Let's get these super chats in real quick. I don't want to forget these guys. Yeah. Shout out to Demokes on the $5 Marcus Allen, Tay, if we don't get what we want, we all float down here. Good God. Shout out to DeMarcus Waller on the $5. Seeing our QB1 pick and eat his boogers pretty much sums up our season. All right, for both of y'all, I'm gonna do the 2-for-1 here for your guys' super chats.
Breast milk, you made my day.
Appreciate you guys on the supers, most
And nothing
definitely.
better than Cambodian breast milk.
Yeah, only the
Nothing
best, y'all, and the real ones know. 4 years in, y'all already know, man. Cambodian breast milk gang in the building. Let's go. Can't trade if they don't want to trade. Yeah, Tay for a third round and Jordan Travis. Build the team. Travis is going to be a good QB. Thoughts?
I was a big proponent in drafting Travis in the third or fourth round. I'm all about Jordan Travis. I think if you, look, Reddick, I would do Reddick and Travis for Tay. I'm gonna be honest, and then I believe in Reddick 100%. I believe you can get him, and I believe that you get a deal worked out in because you have the money to do that. We have $72 million in cap space currently going into next year, and
Right.
when Devante leaves, add another $25 million on that. So you have over $100-something million. Why not spend some of that and get an elite pass rusher to go along with your elite pass rushers that you have on that D line?
72, 25. We'll have like just under 100. We'll have like 90, 97 minus Tay, but there's still going to be other money to worry about once the offseason comes and how much space we're going to have when some of these other contracts expire.
And the thing is Telesco doesn't mind paying. Like, honestly, like if you earn it, he's going to help. He's going to make you pay, or he's going to get you paid. So he rewards you.
Red Dirt Raider said, bro, we got 2 backups. We need a number 1. Bro, you're preaching to the choir. Like I said, I talked about that earlier when we did the presser. Like, we have 2 backups. We have 1 backup journeyman and a quarterback in Aiden O'Connell. From the time we drafted him, I said that this kid is going to be a backup at best. So you're preaching to the choir with that one. I'm taking Rattler over Penix, broken leg ass. I am not taking Rattler. I'm not going into that conversation. I'm not having that conversation. Y'all know my thoughts, sentiments, views on Spencer Rattler, and he is not a guy that I want in this organization. I'm good.
You know why the trade won't happen with the Saints?
I'm listening.
They don't have the cap space, and the Raiders are not going to eat the money and do whatever they got to do to facilitate that trade to New Orleans to reunite him with Carr. That's just not going to happen.
So
they're not going to keep a lot of that salary and say, okay, well, that's not going to happen. You're $100 million over the cap. You've been like that every year. You can't afford them. Oh well.
So what teams do you think ultimately are in this sweepstakes right now besides the Jets? Do you think the Steelers is a real deal? Do you think Bills? Do you think those are really the only teams I could think right now? Do you think that those are the teams?
The Ravens are the team to watch outside the Jets to me. He goes to the Ravens. They are a legitimate. They're probably the best team in the AFC.
Who do you think?
Lamar Jackson.
Who do you think we would get? Like, what do you think the package deal between Baltimore would be then?
It would be picks. I mean, that's when that would probably be picks. I mean, they don't have anybody that you're really going to get back in return. They're not going to trade Bateman, who's either signed a big deal or coming up on his 5th year. You know, you're not going to make that move. Yeah, so it's got it with them. It's just going to be picks. That's what I'm saying. Like, with the Jets, you might be able to get a player in a pick if you can.
Right.
With the Ravens, it's probably going to be picks. With the Bills, it'll be picks. I think with pretty much everybody's going to be picks. The Jets give you the best option to add an impact player right away to go along with it. So to go along with the pick. And look, here's the other thing. Okay, you got Shador, you got Cam, you got Quinn, you got the dude from Georgia. I mean, those are quarterbacks that are being looked upon as first-round quarterbacks this year. Not saying that they are going to be, but that's what they're being looked at right now.
How many of these teams, at least teams with these bad records right now, and again, we're only 5 weeks in, But what teams do you think ultimately are going to be looking for a quarterback in this upcoming draft? Like one I can say like that I'm thinking right now, even though this dude has a shit ton of guaranteed money, might be Deshaun Watson. So I'm thinking Cleveland might be looking for another quarterback. But are there
They
any?
love Dorian too much.
Do they?
They think Dorian can come in and start, and I don't disagree with that. He's got some growing to do, but he's learning, and the organization, the coaching staff believe in him, in the offense and everything else. They'll be surprised by the end of the year if he's starting.
Oh, okay. So Isaiah actually put a couple of teams that might be looking in this upcoming draft:
Carolina,
Rams, Dolphins, Browns, Giants. Giants, yeah, they're going to get out of that Daniel Jones contract. I definitely see them getting out of that. Panthers, yeah. So there's going to be a couple of teams.
Seattle's to me to get Geno Smith. Maybe Dallas, even though they signed Dak to that deal, still got to get a young guy in there.
Yeah. This motherfucker.
I mean, there's a few that's out there. I mean, at the end of the day, though, and you don't know who's going to have to be traded. That's the other thing. No one expected Russell Wilson to be traded a year ago today, saying that he needs to be traded out of Denver.
Yeah.
No one expected Aaron Rodgers a few years ago to have to be traded out of Green Bay, or whatever the case may be. And, so that I think that remains to be seen. And then you're gonna have a guy like Sam Darnold, that's probably going to be a free agent. That's only 27 years old. People don't realize he's young, and he's playing like a fucking madman in Minnesota right now because he has talent. He's got guys around him that can make plays.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have that with the Jets. He was asked to do there's another case of cutting ties way too early because you didn't see instant results when there needed to be some time. You got a 20-year-old coming in. He didn't play great. He was only 20. He probably should have learned for a few years.
Well, that's because the Jets coaching staff they've never had a legit competent coaching staff, and this is what they do with their quarterbacks in New York. Like they get these guys in the first round and throw them to the wolves right away. Like look at Zach Wilson as well. But at the same time, as it pertains to Sam Darnold went to another team where a quarterback's career is supposed to go to die, and that's Carolina. And now he's in Minnesota. They've really solid defense. The defense, like they blitz a lot. And the offensive weapons, like you said, that he has around him as well. Like they're thriving right now. And this was not supposed to happen, at least for Darnold. Like McCarthy went down with the meniscus tear in his knee and done for the season. And Sam Darnold's number was called, and he's been doing his thing. Let me get these super chats real quick. Shout out to Ty. You're a fool. I gotta say, bro, make sure you pinch the tip. I'm done. They really coming at you for that hat today, bro. Hug these and roll that thing down.
I may just wear it just to wear it again. It's just to piss them off.
He said,
I'll throw a red one.
He said, roll that thing down over your chin protection. Yo, I am done with y'all, man.
Damn, Hug these got fucked up, bro. And
y'all are fucking y'all are turned up today, man. Ribbed for his pleasure. Yeah, I'm done. I'm not reading any more of these now. Y'all are too much. We've already been. Go ahead.
So the thing with Darnold, here's the thing with Darnold. I want look, that's a legitimate option in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And think about that Carolina team. They had Darnold and Baker Mayfield on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Like that in they couldn't win with them. So it takes getting to an environment, into a place where you're comfortable and it's a fit. Darnold in silver and black, okay, that I can actually see that. And then you go ahead and you draft you draft Genty from Boise State as your running back. Now you have your running game to go with your receivers and with ours. Maybe you go get, depending where you're at, if you're picking high enough, Travis Hunter to play. There's a lot of ways you could go, but again, I'm not necessarily sure you're locked into a round one quarterback right now. All things considered, because again, it's 5 weeks into a year. 12 more weeks to go.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Damn, y'all fucked up. I've been called a fuckboy, but this is fucked up.
Why? What am I seeing now? What are you saying now?
Yeah, I'll wear the red one next week.
Tyrone Biggums. I wish I had one of those freaking. I don't have it right now. We're gonna have to add that one next week, I guess.
Hey, Joe.
Would I draft Ashton, Jinty, the kid from Boise State?
Yeah.
Yep. Look, I've said this before. When it comes to the running back position, I'm not drafting a running back in the first round. Would I have him as a second round option? Potentially, but I'm not drafting a running back in the first round. Sorry.
Disagree. That kid's special. Genty is special. And he's a high character guy. Look, I'll put you like this. Anytime a kid passes up NIL money to stay at Boise State, and NIL money from big schools like USC, Alabama, Georgia, to stay at Boise State, he got a car and some dough in his pocket. That's a character thing. He wants to finish what he starts. I'm with that. So I mean, I would definitely. He's different. He's a different back.
This is beautiful.
And it's that, or you have Zabir White as your running back next year.
I don't. We got one more year on the contract after this season with him, so it is what it is. I can't find any of this shit, man. This sucks. Like this, y'all are really, really out of control today. I don't know what has gotten into this chat over the last few weeks, but y'all are really. I have no words for y'all today. I really don't. And I'm looking at. Hold on.
Is it the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Okay. Madison over White. Absolutely. Like, look, we saw Madison what he did yesterday. Again, I talked about the lack of use, but at the same time understood it. Like, you activated Graf's guy Sincere. You activated Dylan Lowby, but you still had Madison as the featured back and Amir Abdullah. So I was like, not seeing these other guys that were activated, I'm just like, all right, it is what it is. I understand they're not going to use these guys like I thought they were going to, and just move on. That's it. But we already hit an hour, and somebody was in here before, like, I look tired. I have not been feeling well for like the last 24 hours. So this is the second show we've done today. I've done 2 hours. The Shield More block is going to continue. I believe Wasted should have a show lined up probably within the next hour or so. And then later on, in about 3 hours, Big Mike will be on as well. So the Shield More block continues for today, our Reaction Monday, our Overreaction Monday, whatever you want to call it. But those that are in here right now, do me a favor on your way out if you haven't already. Smash some thumbs, hammer that sub, crush the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. And the house they hammer built by the nation for the nation, Raider Nation News Today. Joe, let them know where they can find you, my guy.
At Joe Arrigo, FSM on all social media. Please go ahead and follow me on everything, as well as at the franchise LB on all social.
With that being said, continue to stay safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. COVID or not, you should always remember to wash your hands and your asses. And as always, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. Till next time, y'all. And of course, as always, on my New York, peace, love, and positivity. And yeah, you know how we end this now.
And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks.
Till next time, y'all. We outro.